Good day, scholars, and welcome to today's lesson about plant hormones. And here is the objective that we need to attain after this lesson. You are all expected to compare and contrast the effects of various plant hormones. Alright, so plants, like all living organisms, have a variety of internal processes that allows them to grow, develop, and respond to their environment. And one of the key factors that influence these processes are plant hormones. So in this lesson, we'll be exploring the different types of plant hormones, how they function within the plant, and the various ways in which they impact plant growth and development. Whether you are a student or you want to be a biologist someday, or simply interested in learning more about the fascinating world of plant science, this lesson is for you guys. So let's dive in and discover the amazing world of plant hormones. Now, have you heard this news before? During the first quarter of this pandemic, the social media broke out the news about the farmers from the north who have been throwing and dumping amounts of vegetables by the roadside. Apparently, this is not new. Diba? We'll often see and smell rotting vegetables in the farmlands due to several reasons such as overproduction or, for this instance, due to unsold food crops because of several lockdowns in the country. As we get to learn about the different plant hormones, here's a challenge for you guys, you scholars, besides scholars. Think of a way by which you can use this knowledge in helping our local farmers and contribute to the country's food security. That would be the challenge for each one of you. Moving on, animals respond to environmental stimuli, diba? Like danger or food or others, by moving toward or away from the stimulus. Plants respond to environmental stimuli also, such as light, water, wind, and others. Okay? So by growing toward or away from the stimulus, most of these growth responses occur at the cellular level and are mediated by hormones. Okay? Much like our own hormones, if we're going to define plant hormones, these are small organic molecules produced by the plant that serve as chemical signals that the signals, between cells and tissues. On this figure, as you can see, this shows how most hormones are like signals that bind to receptor proteins. Yung blue one na nakita natin sa figure here are the receptor proteins and the purple one is the hormone. Once na ito ay nagbind doon sa receptor, the receptor proteins in turn signal the cell. Ayan, kung makita natin yung red and yellow line or structure there, yan yung phospholipids, meaning yan yung cell, yan yung pinaka protector ng cell. That will be the membrane that encloses all the cell organelles inside it. Okay? So, yung cytoplasm, yan yung inside. And yung blue one, that's the extracellular fluid. Pag halimbawa nagbind itong plant hormone sa receptor, these proteins actually, they in turn send signals to the cell to respond to the stimulus, depending on anong klaseng stimulus yon. So currently, there are 5 recognized group of plant hormones, and we're going to explore them one by one. But before that, let's explore first. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng hormones? Okay? So sunlight, water, minerals, carbon dioxide, they are some of the major requirements for the plants to grow. However, plant growth involves more than increasing its mass and volume. Hindi lang yung pag-increase ng kanilang mass and volume. It also differentiates, develops, and takes shape in order to form various cells, tissues, and organs. How this happens is made possible by the interplay of several internal and external factors. Some of the external factors, alam natin yun, di ba? As I've mentioned, light, temperature, length of day, gravity, and other factors. While the internal factors involve the growth and development of plants and its chemicals within it. Ayun yung, doon tayo magpo-focus sa lesson na to, yung plant hormones. Okay? So, effective communication among cells, tissues, and organs ng plants is very crucial for the growth and development of multicellular organisms such as plants. Okay? And also in animals. In both plants and animals, the coordination and regulation of metabolism, kung paano tayo metabolize ng pagkain natin, paano tayo nag-grow, and morphogenesis primarily depends on chemical signals. Ang tawag dun ay hormones. The word hormones is from the Greek term hormone, which means to stimulate. Tandaan natin yan. Thus, they are responsible for inducing chemical responses to control specific physiological event. Halimbawa nga, ang pag-grow ng leaves, ng fruits, and other parts of the plant. Hormones can be synthesized in different parts of the plant depending on its factors. Okay? Specific siya sa tissue, sa cells ng bawat plants. It can cause a specific physiological response to site. Nakadepende yun. Halimbawa ba ay sa tips ng leaves lang or sa leaves lang, sa apical meristem ba, sa fruits, stems, or roots, and other parts of the plants. That it can be transported from one tissue to another. Ayan. So here, as I've mentioned, traditionally, there are 5 classes of hormones or plant hormones, namely gibberellin, auxin, cytokinins, ethylene, and abscisic acid. At nakalagay sa figure na ito kung ano yung kanilang mga functions. Usually, yung gibberellin for germination, growth to maturity, flowering, fruit development. Syempre hindi yung kanyang function yung abscission. Ibig sabihin ng abscission yung paglaglag ng dahon from the tree or from its stem, and seed dormancy. Ayan, yung check part na yung nakita natin, yan yung functions ng iba't ibang mga, like, itong mga iba't ibang hormones na na-classify natin. Okay? So, explore natin yun isa-isa. First, we have here auxins. Auxins are the only phytohormones that are common or that are known, to be transported polarly. Pwede siyang ma-transport through water. Alam nyo ba, more than a century ago, an organic substance, itong auxin na ito yung pinakaunang plant hormone na discover. Okay? So, if you're going to recall that, plant cells have a cell wall and that it grow in order for a plant cell to grow, the cell wall needs to be softened, diba? Diba? Magiging soft siya. Auxin softens the wall or the cell wall so that growth can occur. Yun ang ginagawa ng auxin. Auxin is involved in phototropism. Tandaan natin yan. Phototropism. Observable ito when stems bend toward a light source. Halimbawa, 'di ba, kung titingnan natin, pag nag-grow tayo ng mango seeds sa loob ng house natin, and kahit ano namang mga plants, usually yung kanilang mga stems or yung kanilang direction is napunta dun sa may light source. Pwedeng malapit yun sa bintana or pwedeng kahit anong light source na available. Okay? So, when a plant is exposed to light on one side, halimbawa, sa bintana lang, yun yung source lang ng light, yung auxin, a hormone, siya yung nag-move ng stem or yung part ng plant to the shady side. Ito yun, nakikita natin siya. Pag mas, halimbawa, less ang toxin doon sa part na kung saan ay shady. Okay? More naman ng sa may light. Okay? More ang auxin sa shady part. Tandaan natin yan. On the shady side, the part or the cells become longer, causing the stem to bend toward the light. Yun ang dahilan nun. So, yung halimbawa, sa figure na kita natin sa figure B, yung red ones, that will be the auxin. But once nag-bind yan siya sa receptor protein kanina, yung blue na yan, siya yung magsisend sa parts ng cell, or probably yung sa cell wall, para mag-grow siya Okay? Kaya dahil doon sa maging mas longer siya. Pag naging longer yung stem niya, it causes it to bend toward the light. Here's a letter A. Plant cells on the shady side undergo elongation, and this causes the stem to bend toward the light. And elongation occurs after auxin binds to a receptor and hydrogen ions, yung H plus nakita nyo here sa figure, that are actively transported out of the cytoplasm, resulting to acidity. Dahil naging mas acid yung plant, it activates enzymes that cause the cell wall to weaken and allow water to enter the cell. Therefore, the cell elongates. Siya ay nag-grow or nag-elongate yung cell. I hope you get that.
Alright, to explain more about the elongation of cells, here is the series of events that happens when the hormone called auxin binds to the receptor. Okay? That would be the first steps. Yung magbabind muna, yung red na yan, yung auxin na yan sa receptor protein natin, it's the blue one. Then, when the binding occurs or happens, magsisend ng signals itong ating mga receptor proteins, and all the hydrogens, yung H plus natin, are actively transported out of the cell. So, kailangan nyo ng ATP. I know you are all aware kung ano ibig sabihin ng ATP, diba? This is the energy currency of the cell that powers out up the cell para ma-pump out yung lahat ng hydrogen or the hydrogen ions out of the cell. So, the increase of hydrogen ions creates an acidic environment sa cell wall na yon, outside of the cell or the cytoplasm. So, the acidity triggers the other enzymes to soften the cell wall. And then, the growth and elongation of the cell wall takes place. That's the mechanism or the whole process or events when an auxin binds to the receptor proteins for elongation of cells. So class, remember, auxins have a major role in the field of agriculture and horticulture. Some of its application includes the following. First, we have here the apical dominance. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin nito? Apical meaning sa mga end part. This is where the growth of buds are inhibited while the main shoot is growing. Ayan. Lahat ng mga buds ay usually nai-inhibit yung kanilang pag-grow, pero yung pinaka-main shoot, nag-grow siya. Okay? So, ito yung mga na-experience ng mga gardeners. Alam nila to. Para, halimbawa, sila ay nagka-cut off ng mga buds or mga terminal buds. Ito yung ginagawa nila. Para yung pruning. So, para makaproduce sila ng basher plant, they must remove the terminal bud. In a plant that has not been altered, yung auxin na napoproduce sa apical meristem of the terminal bud is transported downward, inhibiting the growth of lateral buds. Itong mga lateral buds, syempre sa baba ng pinaka main shoots. So, release from apical dominance occurs when pruning removes some tips or the shoot tip. Then the lateral buds grow and the plant takes on a fuller appearance. Interestingly, if auxin were to be applied to the broken terminal stem, apical dominance should be restored. Okay? That's it for apical meristem, the first application of auxin sa agriculture. The next one would be meristematic activity. Ito yung auxins, siya nag-stimulate and nagre-regulate ng cambial growth in woody plants. Yung cambial part na yun yung nasa loob ng stem. The next one, rooting of cuttings. Number 4, inducing parthenocarpic or seedless fruits. Pwede yung auxins na gamitin para mas magkaroon ng flowers ang mga pineapples. And then para ma-prevent yung premature fall of fruits. Pwedeng lagyan ng auxins yan. Prevention of sprouting of potatoes. Killing of weeds, strengthening of the stem of young plants, differentiation of xylem and phloem, and sex expression as it increases the female flowers in cucurbits. Pwede din itong mag-i-apply sa ating mga kalabasa. Ayan. Para mas maraming mga female flowers ang ma-produced. That's it for auxins. Let's move on to the next one. Cytokinins. Okay? Cytokinins are for cytokinesis. It's just like the same thing. Cytokinins are a group of growth regulators involved in cytokinesis. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng cytokinesis? Cell division. The chemical composition of cytokinins are related to nucleic acid components na makita natin here sa figure. The kinetin, thiotin, isophentyladenine, the benzylaminopurin, ito yung mga synthetic cytokinins at saka yung mga naturally occurring cytokinins. They are most abundant in actively dividing cells. And they can be found sa mga tissues of seeds, leaves, fruits, and shoots or root tips. In association with auxins, ang ginagawa ng cytokinins, siya yung nagkakos ng cell division in tissue cultures of plants. Alright? Learning more about cytokinin, ito yung, again, a plant hormone na nagpo-promote ng cell division, growth differentiation, and other physiological processes para mas mapabilis yung pag-divide ng mga cells, para mas makaproduce ng mga flowers and more, makaproduce ng fruits and more leaves. Now, let's explore senescence and abscission. So, in tobaccos, for example, halimbawa ang ating mga tobacco, a high concentration of auxin can cause root formation, while increased concentration of cytokinins promotes the formation of buds. Ayan. Again, yung auxin para ma-promote yung root, para mas dumami yung pag-form ng roots. Pero yung pag tinaasan ang concentration ng cytokinins, siya yung nagpo-promote ng formation of buds. If you noticed, as soon as the leaves are detached from the plants, it turns yellow, diba? Lalo na pag natanggal na yun sa stem. It is because of the loss of chlorophyll. Nawala na kasi yung chlorophyll sa dahon na yun. Kaya naging yellow na siya. As we all know, alam naman ninyo, alam ko aware kayo, na ang chlorophyll siya yung responsible for the color of the leaves. So, however, cytokinins also help in delaying this para ma-delay yung yellowing ng plant leaf. It helps in preventing senescence, yung paglaglag ng mga dahon in leaves by stimulating the synthesis of proteins. Okay? So, alam natin pag sinabi natin yung mga senescence, ito yung aging or ng mga parts ng plants na mabilis na mag-age, ma-rot, or tumanda yung dahon. So, as cytokinin, the levels drop within a plant organ such as leaf, growth slows or even stops. So then the leaf loses its natural color as large molecules are broken down and transported to other parts of the plant. Senescence is necessary parts of plant's growth. Tandaan natin yan. Necessary pa naman siya because some plants grow taller, they naturally lose their lower leaves. Alam natin yan. Okay? Okay, the next one or the next plant hormone we're going to explore is ethylene. Okay? Remember class, ethylene is a gas that can move freely in the air, causing fruit ripening and abscission. Abscission, this is when the leaves is being detached from the stem. Ethylene stimulates certain enzymes such as cellulase, isa siyang enzyme, that cause leaf, fruit, or flower drop. As you can see here sa figure, gaseous siya, so pwede siyang ma-spray actually, yung ethylene. Pag na-apply na natin yan, yung ethylene, mabilis na minog ang mga fruits or mabilis na ma-drop ang mga leaves. Okay? Cellulase, ito siya isang enzyme. So, cellulase hydrolyzes cellulose in plant cell walls and weakens the part of the plant. Did you know that in the early 1900s, it was common practice to prepare citrus fruits for market by placing them in a room with a kerosene stove. Alam natin yung kerosene ay may component ng ethylene. Only later Only later did researchers realize that ethylene, an incomplete combustion product of kerosene, was ripening the fruit. It was ethylene, not the kerosene. Because it is a gas, ethylene can act from a distance, and it is often used commercially to ripen fruit just before it is delivered to the grocery store. So a barrel of ripening apples can induce ripening in a bunch of bananas, even if they are in different containers. If a plant is wounded due to physical damage or infection, ethylene is released at the wound site. That is why the one reason kung halimbawa merong one rotten apple, it can spoil the whole barrel. 'Di ba? Makita naman natin 'yan. Pag may nasira na isang sira na diyan, usually ilang days lang 'yan sira na din lahat ng mga naimbak ninyong mga fruits, lalo pang apple or tomatoes. Exploring more about ethylene, remember this is a group of plant growth regulators, which are widely used for ripening of fruits and for the production of more flowers and fruits. So, ano nga ba yung chemical structure ng ethylene? Ito yon. Diba? It is a small hydrocarbon, the colorless flammable gas, which is denoted by a formula of C2H4, or as you can see here sa figure, H2, the 6 of 2, C is equal to CH2. Ethene is the iopic name for ethylene, so it has a sweet and musky odor when it is pure. Now let's explore the functions of ethylene. Ito yon. Tandaan natin to. First, growth. Second, gravity. Third, senescence. Fourth, abscission, the natural detachment of parts of the plant. Sixth is the apical dominance. Seventh, breaking dormancy, ripening of fruit number 8, and number 9 for flowering. So, ayan, tandaan natin tong iba't ibang mga functions ng ethylene. Moving on, anyways, hindi ko na siya babasahin isa-isa. Just, if you want to know more about this, basahin nyo pa. Basahin nyo na lang ito. Alright, now let's explore the next plant hormone, which is the abscisic acid. Okay, if environmental conditions are not favorable, a plant will need to protect itself. Anong ginagawa niya? Abscisic acid is sometimes called the stress hormone ay na-release because it initiates and maintains seed and bud dormancy and brings about the closure of stomata. Ayan. Una, ang gagawin niya, halimbawa, ay kailangan niya na mas, halimbawa, dormancy, nagsistart yon pag yung plant ay nag-stop siya ng growing and it prepares for adverse condition. Even though yung condition na yun at the same time would be favorable for growth. Halimbawa, it is believed that abscisic acid moves from leaves to vegetative buds in the fall, and thereafter, these buds are converted to winter. Nakita natin sa figure na ito, letter A, I guess, yeah. So, ang nangyayari, pag nag-winter na siya, yung buds na yon, nako-covered by siya ng thick, hardened scales. So, you can see here, a reduction in the level of abscisic acid and an increase in the level of gibberellins are believed to break seed and bud dormancy. Seeds would germinate and buds, eventually, anong mangyayari yan sa buds, magde-develop yan into leaves. So, abscisic acid brings about the closing of stomata. Ito yung ating figure letter B. When a plant is under water stress. Halimbawa, kailangan niyang mag-conserve ng tubig kasi summer na. It is some unknown way, abscisic acid causes potassium, yung K plus nakikita niyo dyan sa figure, to leave guard cells. Yung guard cells na yan, that's nakita niyo yung dalawang parang white circles. Yan, that's a guard cells. To lose water. Ayan, lalabas yun. And stomata, therefore, closes. So, it was once believed that abscisic acid function in abscission. Di ba? Yung natural detachment ng leaf. So the dropping of leaves, fruits, and flowers from a plant. Although the external application of abscisic acid promotes abscission, this hormone is no longer believed to function naturally in this process. Halimbawa dito, nagkaroon ng experiment dito sa ating figure. Kung totoo nga talagang yung abscisic acid is nagkukos ng abscission or dropping of leaves or even fruits and flowers. So, ito ng letter A, walang abscission dito. Letter B, meron ng abscission since merong yang abscisic acid. That's it. Alright, let's explore gibberellins. Ayan. Alam nyo ba na ang gibberellins were discovered in 1926 when a Japanese scientist was investigating a fungal disease of rice plants called foolish seedling disease. Ano nga ba itong gibberellins? So this is for stem growth and seed germination. Gibberellins are growth-promoting hormones that bring about elongation of the cells. When gibberellins are applied externally to plants, the most obvious effect is stem elongation between the nodes. Ayan, itong figure natin sa letter A, wala yung gibberellins nang in-applyan, nagkaba yung kanyang nodes. Okay? Or I mean stem between the nodes. So, gibberellins can cause dwarf plants to grow. Tulad nung kanina natin na figure. So, cabbage plants to become as much as 2 meters tall and bash beans to become pole beans. There are many commercial uses for gibberellins that promote growth and variety of crops such as apples, cherries, and sugarcane. One example of this is yung table grapes. Nakita natin here sa figure. It is grown in the United States. And it is commercially, ayan ang ginagawa nila. Ito ay commercial grapes na genetically seedless sila. Variety. Yung kanilang variety ay walang seeds. It would naturally produce small fruit or very small bunches. Pag treat nila ito ng gibberellins, substitute for the presence of seeds, which would normally be the source of native gibberellins for fruit growth. Pag halimbawa yon, nag-i-increase yun ng sizes. Both stem length and the fruit size. Ayan, nagpupudo siya ng clusters, big clusters. So, in the brewing industry, ito yung ginagamit nila para mas marami silang maaning mga ano ang tawag sa fruit na ito? Yeah, mga berries. Okay? So, dahil alam natin, the production of beer relies on the breakdown of starch in the barley grains or seeds. Yan. So, barley grains would naturally be dormant in a period in which a seed does not grow because of gibberellins. So, ginagamit siya para makapag-break ng dormancy and yielding fermentable sugar. Mainly, ang napuproduce ng mga sugar ay maltose, which are fermented by yeast to produce ethanol. Kaya nga, di ba, mga wine natin usually ay from this kind of fruit. Okay? So, in the summary, for the functions of the major plant hormones, ito yon. For the auxin, pinaka-function niya is to maintain apical dominance. Taas, so buds, these are involved in phototrophism and gravitropism, promote growth of roots in tissue culture, and prevent leaf and fruit drop. Ayan, saan siya naproduced or found in plant, sa apical meristems or sa immature leaves. While the gibberellins, this promotes stem elongation between nodes. It breaks seed and bud dormancy and influences germination of seeds. This is usually produced in apical meristem, also in immature leaves and seeds. While the dicytokinins, this promotes cell division, prevents senescence, along with an auxin, promote differentiation, leading to roots, shoots, leaves, or floral shoots. Saan siya nakikita or napoproduced? Sa root apical meristem. Sa root siya. And the next one would be the abscisic acid. Siya yung nag-initiate at nag-maintain ng seed and bud dormancy at siya yung nagpo-promote ng formation ng winter buds. Kaya, as well as to promote the closure of stomata. Lalo na pag sila ay under stress. Kaya tinawag siyang stress hormone. This is usually produced or found in endosperm, roots, tissues containing chloroplasts. The last one, for the major plant hormone, is the ethylene. It Its function is to promote abscission or the dropping of leaf, fruits, or flower, and promotes ripening of fruits. This is usually found in the aging parts of plants and in ripening fruit sa apical meristem and nodes of stem. So, that's it. But did you know, class, meron tayong dinagdag actually na plant hormone maliban doon sa limang na-discuss natin a while ago. And that is the bassinosteroids. Anong ginagawa niya? This stimulates cell elongation, curvature, and internode splitting. Ayan ang ginagawa ng bassinosteroid. So they are polyhydroxylated plant steroid hormones characterized by their function in plant growth, development, and response to stress, which includes drought and extreme heat. Kaya nga 'di ba, ito usually din ang ginagamit ng mga magsasaka natin, usually naman nagtatanim ng palay. So, similar with cytokinins, ang ginagawa ng bassinosteroids, siya stimulate nga ng cell elongation, curvature, and internode splitting. However, remember class, they have a greater effect on seedlings by initiating root hair growth, stomatal development, vascular tissue differentiation, and reproductive development. So the process of plant responding appropriately to environmental cues first requires that the plant senses the changing environment. Due to the complex nature of stress, halimbawa tag-init na, the likely involvement of multiple sensors for perception of signals is predicted. The signal transduction pathways, which are activated after the perception of signals, ultimately activate stress-responsive genes, thus generating the initial stress response. In this update, we integrate nila yung bassinosteroids signals with various abiotic stress responses which presumably occur at different level. So, halimbawa here, nagkaroon ng meron tayong mga abiotic stress. Pwede yung salinity, drought, heavy metal, temperature, and pesticide. Itong mga stress na ito, itong mga stimulus na ito, this will be perceived by the signals na meron sa plants. Then, syempre, because of that perception, i-relay yun. Pag halimbawa na stimulate yung mga, or na-integrate yung bassinosteroids, sila yung magre-relay ng signal for papunta na yun sa cellular level. Halimbawa, i-change niya yung cell cycle and cell division. I-modify niya yung cell wall architecture, yung size ng cell wall or the shape. At i-adjust niya yung membrane system. Halimbawa, para pag-drought, para mas makapag-conserve sila ng water. Siyempre, medyo mag-shrink sila ng onte. The next one would be the physiological and biochemical level. Ang gagawin ng bassinosteroids, i-change yung metabolic activity leading to accumulation of compatible solutes. I-change niya yung ROS level at yung mga phytochrome level. Then, at functional gene level, gagamitan niya i-interrupt niya yung mga enzymes, mga transporters, and mga stress marker genes. For signaling level, yung kanilang responses nito is the reception of signals and transduction of signals. Okay? And sa regulatory level naman, transcription factors, DNA level, or epigenetic changes, post-transcriptional level, yung mga small RNAs natin para mas halimbawa, kailangan nilang mas mag-generate ng protein, mas dadamihan nila yun. Okay? Post-translational level, yung protein folding and processing, sorting, and degradation. Pag yun nga, pag drought, kailangan lang mag-consume or mag-conserve ng water, i-less nila yung pag-produce ng protein muna for the meantime. That's it. That's about the bassinosteroid. But I have here some supporting details about it. Did you know that nagkaroon na ng mga researches about this one? Yung paggamit ng itong hormone na ito. Very promising daw na option in deciphering remedial strategies for abiotic stress tolerance in rice. Kasi alam natin yung rice is very important lalo sa ating mga Filipinos kasi hindi tayo makakain kung walang rice. Ang ginagawa nila, dahil very sensitive itong mga rice sa mga abiotic stresses. Halimbawa nga, salinity, high level nyon, drought, and many more. Nagkakaroon ng decline ng crop productivity. Kaya nga, recently, they use the phytohormones for abiotic stress amelioration na ginagamit nila itong brasinosteroids para makapag-adapt sila sa environmental stresses na meron or nag-undergo. So, the brasinosteroids, they are, yan, ginagawa nila, best known sila para mas may tolerance yung rice sa mga ganong klaseng mga stresses sa environment. Moreover, ayan, remember class that brasinosteroids, they are a group of naturally occurring polyhydroxylated steroids. It is now classified as the sixth plant hormone due to its effect on the normal growth of most plant tissues. Actually, yan yung maraming functions na meron na kayang gawin ng brasinosteroids. And here is the summary, their nature, occurrence, and effects. For auxins, ito yung chemical nature niya. Ayan, indole-3-acetic acid, the principal naturally occurring auxin and passively synthesized via tryptophan-dependent and tryptophan-independent pathways. Yung site ng kanyang ng biosynthesis ng auxin ay primarily sa leaf primordia or young leaves and in developing seeds. Auxin is transported both asymmetrical and directional. And ano yung effects ng auxin? Sabi nga, apical dominance, trophic responses, vascular tissue differentiation, promotion of cambial activity, induction of adventitious roots and cuttings, inhibition of leaf and fruit abscission, stimulation of ethylene synthesis, inhibition of promotion in, like for pineapples, of flowering, and stimulation of fruit development. While, ayan, cytokinins, ang kanyang formula about this one is, ayan, N6-adenine derivatives, phenylurea compounds. Zeatin or zeatin is the most common cytokinin in plants. Saan siya usually makikita? In root tips. Okay? They are transported in the xylem from roots to shoots. Ano ang kanyang functions usually? For promotion of cell division, promotion of shoot formation in tissue culture, delay of leaf senescence, application of cytokinin, can cause release of lateral buds from apical dominance, and can increase root development in arid condition. While ethylene, the gas ethylene is C2H4 synthesized. It is synthesized from methionine or methionine. It is the only hydrocarbon with a pronounced effect on plants, and this is usually found in tissues in response to stress, especially in tissues undergoing senescence or ripening. Ethylene as a gas moves by diffusion from its site of synthesis. Okay? Ano yung function niya? Fruit ripening, especially in climacteric fruits such as apples, bananas, and avocados. Leaf and flower senescence. Leaf and fruit abscission. And, ayan, the abscisic acid is synthesized from the carotenoid intermediate. The name is misnomer. Misnomer because the hormone has little to do with abscission. In mature leaves and roots, especially in response to water stress, doon siya makikita. Maybe it is synthesized in seeds daw. And abscisic acid is exported from leaves into the phloem, from roots in the xylem. And its function would be stomatal closure, induction of photosynthetic transport from leaves to developing seeds, induction of storage protein synthesis in seeds, embryogenesis. It may affect induction and maintenance of dormancy in seeds and buds of certain species. The gibberellic acid or the gibberellin, this is a fungal product and it is the most widely studied. Gibberellins are synthesized via the terpenoid pathway. It can be found usually in young tissues of the shoot and developing seeds. It is uncertain whether synthesis also occurs in roots. And usually it is transported in the xylem and phloem. Ano ang function niya? Hyperelongation of shoots by stimulating both cell division and cell elongation, producing tall and opposed to dwarf plants, induction of seed germination, stimulation of flowering in long day plants and biennials, regulation of production of seeds, enzymes in cereals. And last one is the brasinosteroids. Ayan, they are polyhydroxylated, sabi ko kanina sa inyo, steroid compound that is synthesized as a branch of terpenoid pathway. It can be found throughout the plant, especially in young growing tissues. It is being transported, or the endogenous steroids act locally at or near their sites of synthesis. Its function would be marami, a wide range of developmental and physiological processes, including cell division, cell expansion, branching, vascular tissue differentiation, development of lateral roots, seeds, germination, leaf, and leaf senescence. And that's it. So to conclude, plant hormones play a crucial role in regulating growth, development, and response to the environment in plants. Understanding the different types of plant hormones and their functions can help us optimize plant growth and productivity in agriculture and horticulture. By continuing to study plant hormones, we can gain further insights into the complex mechanisms underlying plant biology and work towards a more suitable and sustainable and efficient use of our natural resources. That's it. I guess it would be the end of our discussion for this video lesson. If you have questions, queries, or comments, please feel free to send me a message. I hope you learned a lot today. Goodbye, everyone.